Hey y'all, it's Riot. Welcome back to Weekly Hyperfixations. This week we don't actually have a huge amount of stuff on the docket. Because Pokemon Presents happened like yesterday morning. Actually, yeah, yesterday morning. And that is all I've been thinking about. So, let's get going, you know? First up, we have a very weird back-to-back thing. Trisha Paytas had her third and final child, and I do say final. She got her tubes not tied, but removed completely after the birth of her son, Aquaman. Not kidding. If any of you are not familiar with Trisha Paytas' two other children, they are Malibu Barbie and Elvis, both girls. And then this is her one and only boy. So, and there, you know, in case you've somehow missed it, there's the internet meme of every time a famous person dies, Trisha Paytas has a baby, and the baby is the reincarnation of whoever that was. One of her kids was born the same day Prince Philip died. There we go. One of them was born the day Queen Elizabeth died, and this one leads into our next topic of discussion. Unfortunately, Ozzy Osbourne has passed at age 76. Literally a week after his final concert. So it's very upsetting. First of all, that he passed, but also that a lot of people immediately transform it into the meme of, oh, he's been reincarnated as Trisha Paytas' newborn son. But good news, her tubes are gone. Not even tied, they're gone. Supposedly. A lot of times medical facilities don't tell the truth about that. So hopefully it actually happened. That's a whole weird thing that happens medically, but okay. I'm actually gonna talk about the Pokemon Presents last for the sake of I will ramble on it for a long time, so I better get everything else out of the way first. Minecraft is adding shelves, which is really cool. I've been seeing a lot of people use it because the snapshot came out. People have been using it to make more three-dimensional looking pillars without needing to make them super big to get that desired effect. I've seen people use them as slot machines. And of course, some people have been using them as like a thinner wall kind of thing, which is really cool. I'm really excited about it because it adds a lot of building. It has a lot of building versatility. I say as if I've played Minecraft in the last 6 months, but you know, I digress. Okay. So I am not someone who really watches many VTubers. A streamer I like to watch became a VTuber, but I didn't watch them because of that. I'd been watching them for a couple years before then. But in terms of VTubing news, there is this company that basically manages a bunch of VTubers called Vshojo, and they have lost their entire English branch. This started because the streamer Iron Mouse, who's extremely popular, declared that she was leaving Vshojo, and her reasoning was extremely valid. She VTubes and makes money because she has a condition that makes her really unable to do anything else. She can recently she's been able to get enough care via her income from streaming that she can now actually walk around her house a little bit. She used to not be able to do that. So it's a very serious thing for her. She had raised, through Vshojo and streaming, $500,000 to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Their goal was like a couple thousand or something like that. And they ended up raising $500,000. And she found out that the company she works for, Vshojo, didn't donate any of that money. So she had worked hard to support a cause that affects her and people like her directly. She raised well over their goal. She raised $500,000, and the company didn't donate a cent of it. So, as you can imagine, very pissed, and left the company. And following this news, all of Vshojo's other English-speaking partners all dropped the company. Because, you know, the Vshojo members in Japan do not really, they didn't drop it. The relationship Vshojo has with their Japanese-speaking members is fine, but they did lose all of their English-speaking members. They all resigned. And the good news, though, there is good news. Immediately, Tiltify and Iron Mouse put up a new fundraiser to actually donate that money back to the original charity chosen, the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Not only did they meet their goal of $500,000, I believe they hit $600,000. So, they did even better than they originally did, because the community really stepped up. And it's a big deal as well when you're in that big of a company to leave it and then publicly say something that could get you sued. But immediately everyone has been backing, because that is the kind of thing a company like that would do. And the Immune Deficiency Foundation also informed them that, like, hey, we never received that donation money. Are you going to send it? Turns out Vshojo was never going to send it. So that was a really big thing that happened yesterday, I believe. So for you guys, that will have been, it happened on Tuesday. So that was a really big thing that happened, because the Vshojo communities are really big. So the company losing almost half of their streamers is a really big deal. And also it was a really big deal for a really big reason. So, the Fantastic Four premiere happened. I have still not seen Fantastic Four. I've also still not seen Superman. I am actively trying to convince people to go see both in one day with me, because after doing Barbenheimer, when that came out, I feel like I can do any two movies back to back like that. But the Fantastic Four premiere was really beautiful, because they had two of the previous Fantastic Four casts there. They did not have the cast of Fan Four Stick there. We all know why. Okay. But really beautifully, the entire original cast was there, which is really good. And I've, just not only the original cast being there, but there's this really cute picture of Vanessa Kirby meeting the original Sue Storm actress, and it's a really cute picture because you can see how excited Vanessa Kirby is about it. Um, it was really good. I'm a huge fan of characters that are just little guys, and y'all know Herbie is just a little guy to me. Little robot man. He's adorable. He's just a little guy. Anyway. I also somehow today just realized that there are many meanings to the subtitle of the movie being First Steps because, you know, they go to space. But then also there's a baby in the movie. So I'm assuming the baby walks before the end of the movie because it is called First Steps. And like, aside from like, if you're the first 4 people who ever step, you know, quote unquote, step foot in a certain space, in space. But then also there's an infant. So, you know. Also, arguably, and they show him doing this in the trailer. So, arguably, also Galactus's first steps on that specific version of Earth. So, you know. Also, it's also kind of the first step towards Marvel wanting to reboot a bunch of things. And this is also kind of their first step in doing that. It's also a step towards putting out something that has high quality. It's not the first step of that. The first step of that was Thunderbolts. But it is in the first steps, like, phase of Marvel transitioning towards making sure everything is more quality rather than producing as much as possible, which is really good. Yeah. Let's see. Looks like it's all Pokemon from here. Yay! I'm very excited about that. Okay. So, there's a lot and also not a lot that happened in the Pokemon Presents. And I'm really only talking about Pokemon Legends ZA. But still. So, as a couple people predicted, there are going to be they're bringing back the system of having alpha Pokemon in the wild. So Pokemon that are way bigger versions of what, you know, much bigger in proportion to what the normal size of that Pokemon is. And then also, you know, the red glowing eyes. They'll probably have the echoey effect on the Pokemon cry and stuff like that. So they're bringing that back. Also, this is something I thought would be cool, and they are actually doing it, which is nice. They are making it so that one of the in canon lore problems is that there's a bunch of Pokemon that, even though they don't have trainers and they don't have Mega Evolution stones, for some reason, on occasion, there will be a Pokemon that is able to, quote unquote, go rogue and Mega Evolve anyway. Which is really cool. I like that factor. I can't for the life of me think of what that reminds me of. Oh, in Pokemon Legends Arceus, when one of the Guardian Pokemon get hit with that distortion energy and they become extra rowdy and powerful, that kind of has the same vibe to me of there's just going to be Pokemon that do that, and that's an issue that you have to address. Which is really cool. I jokingly said, I need them to at least tell us one new Mega Evolution. They gave us exactly one. Ooh. We now have Mega Dragonite, which has design elements that make it look more like Dragonair. Thank goodness. I have a habit of not evolving my Dragonair into its final form, Dragonite, because I don't like that it no longer looks like the blue snake dragon shape. They've combined Dragonite and Dragonair's designs basically to get to Mega Dragonite, which is okay. I would have also liked maybe a color change, but you know, Mega Evolutions aren't always... Actually, most of the time, Mega Evolutions don't change a lot about the coloration of something. I do think it'd be cool if if the shiny no longer looked like the green that Dragonite looks like, but if it was pink, like how Dragonaire's shiny looks, that'd be cool. I doubt that's gonna happen, but you know. So that was really cool. They showed us a bunch of NPCs, a bunch of new NPCs that are important. They showed us like 5 or 6, I think. Something like that. And some of their design elements do imply that we get mega evolutions for other Pokemon. First and foremost, Emma is in this game again. She was in X and Y. She's now a detective. So I guess Looker passed on his job to Emma. But I'm just glad to see that we get that whole scenario going again. We were shown a gym leader whose design absolutely slaps no notes. Thank you. And people online have been saying like, oh, he shares design elements with Kieran and Carmine, which is true, he does. Which is really cool. And because he's a gym leader, they show a couple of his Pokemon and he has an Arbok. So people are assuming that if that's his primary Pokemon, that we will get a Mega Arbok evolution, which will be really cool. I really hope it's got some more King Cobra well, it already has King Cobra elements. I guess maybe, I don't know, something different. Maybe give it 2 heads. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool, actually. But the gym leader's name is Corbeau. I absolutely want to buy a glasses chain that looks like his because that shit's cool as hell. Also, thank you, Pokemon, for the gradients on his design. That's really good. Thank you. Also, I really like poison type Pokemon because I also really like bug type Pokemon. And in fact, there's a lot of overlap in those categories. So, very exciting for me. There's also Lita, I assume is how her name is said. She clearly looks like Tierno, who is one of the quote-unquote rivals from original X and Y. And he wanted to be a professional dancer. She also wants to be a professional dancer. They have a similar hairstyle at the top. So very exciting to see that. I do hope that this means that we get to see either people who are related to the other rivals, or we just get to see the other rivals. That'd be really nice. Though only the pro tags in that game really liked Pokemon battling, which they're doing again. They're making the quote unquote rivals not super care about Pokemon battling, which is what X and Y was like. Because, you know, Tierno wanted to dance, Trevor wanted to do technology stuff, Shauna, I think, wanted to do like beauty contests or like Pokestar Studios or something. I really hope we get Pokestar Studios back because that shit was funny. We also have Naveen, who looks kind of like the guy who runs the Blueberry Academy in the DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. They both have Honedge line accents on their clothing. On the Blueberry Academy guy, his scarf has like a Honedge thing on the end. And on Naveen, his tie has a little Aegislash clip, which also implies that we might get an Aegislash Mega Evolution, which is also very exciting. Oh, also, Lita kind of has... She seems to have water Pokemon. The Pokemon they show her with is a Staryu, and the Pokemon they show Naveen with is a Scraggy. Also, Naveen is passionate about clothing design. Thank God. I really like all of these Pokemon trainers that like clothing designs. In Pokemon Scarlet Violet on Team Star, Atticus was the same way. I really like both of their designs, like, a lot. So, let's see. Ooh, they are bringing back full character customization. They abandoned that briefly in Scarlet and Violet because, oh, you're supposed to be going to school. You need to be wearing your uniform. Yeah, you don't need to be doing that shit in France. But, oh my gosh. Not only does it look really good, but also we get the option of two-tone or balayage style hair dye, which means not only can you customize your character's hairstyle and clothes and whatnot, but you can also give them like highlights, basically. I'm sure I'm putting up pictures of it, or Steven's putting up pictures of it, but you know, there was one where someone had like a blonde and black hair, and then one of the ones they show, I think, is like a orange to pink gradient, you know, stuff like that. I'm extremely excited about that. I go absolutely apeshit for Pokemon games, and it's just, I don't think I would be, I'm like on like a Disney adult level with Pokemon. I could be. I really could be. If I had the money to be like that with Pokemon, I would. There's no way I wouldn't. I'm too autistic about Pokemon to not do that, you know? Like, this is my number one hyperfixation that my autism has had me clinging onto since I was 4 years old. So I'm kind of stuck with it at this point. You know what I mean? There's no way I won't be interested, you know? Also, of course, I've been talking about this the past couple episodes. I'm about to go into my final weekend of this production for theater. And in between shows last week, I played some Pokemon on my phone. And this next week, I am probably going to do the same thing. So I'm excited about that. Replaying Pokemon Emerald for the Game Boy Advance. I'm about to fight I'm about to fight the third gym, Watson, at the Mauville City gym. I had taken a break from playing it, and I wanted to make sure that at least one of my Pokemon level matched his level 24 Manectric, so that makes total sense to everyone, and I didn't just say basically technical bullshit about Pokemon. Anyway, we're gonna move on to the pyramid because I do talk about more Pokemon there. I didn't mention one of the NPCs that is in there, but I will talk about her when I get there. Okay. First up on the pyramid is Corbeau. Excellent design, thank you. Also, he kind of, I have a friend when they wear their glasses with glasses chains, they do look a lot like him, which is excellent. Because that means my friend is really cool too. Just kidding, I knew that. But I don't know. I just remembered that yesterday and was like, oh my god, that's so cool. I'm really excited because I really like poison type Pokemon, and he's a poison type gym leader. He also kind of has the vibe of a Yakuza because in the few shots they showed with him in it, there's one where he's sitting down and there's like a really big bodyguard sitting next to him. So like that, or is he Mafia? Like what is happening? Anyway, I did see someone draw him with like an Arbok tattoo over his whole back, that was really cool. I want more Yakuza in Pokemon, please and thank you. Actually, just more characters in Pokemon that have tattoos. That'd be cool. I feel like there have been before, because there was a Pokemon trainer class of like bikers, and it was like, you know, dudes on motorcycles. They're in a couple games, but I don't know if any of them had like tattoos. I don't remember. But Corbeau is on the pyramid because I'm very excited to have a poison type gym leader with a really cool design. And I'm pretty sure he has an Ariados, and that is one of my favorite Pokemon, because all my favorite Pokemon are spiders. Yeah. Okay. Next up on the pyramid is the new Pokemon professor, Mabel. Here's the thing. In Pokemon X and Y, Mabel works for Team Flare. So after Team Flare, her being the professor in this game implies that after Team Flare was defeated in Pokemon X and Y by the player, she then went to school and studied and then became a Pokemon professor. So that's extremely cool. Her hair is also very distinctive, so it didn't take people very long at all to recognize her and point that out. So that was really cool. I kind of want to make sure I finish playing Pokemon X and Y just so I can see her team in that game, because I feel like that's probably prevalent knowledge for this game. Also, I really hope that Pokemon does that with more characters, where they take a character who was doing one thing, like taking a character who was like on the bad guy side or whatever, and then, you know, time skip takes place, and then they've like reformed and are no longer doing crimes and stuff. I like that a lot. More of that, please. Also, unrelated, my dumbass just remembered that there are characters in Pokemon that have tattoos. Literally Team Skull. Literally my favorite bad guy leader, Guzma. Like, I'm stupid, I fear. Theater has just been draining my brain for weeks on end. I'm in the final stretch, but oh man. Okay. Next up on the pyramid is Naveen. First of all, banger design. Okay, banger design. Especially the beads in Naveen's hair matching how Scraggy looks when it evolves into Scrafty. Very good. Also, having a character who is all about fashion design, and his Pokemon Scraggy evolves into Scrafty, which does have the word crafty in it, and I like that a lot. Also, just the little design elements on the jacket that Naveen wears, very nice. I'm very excited to have, you know, that group of quote unquote rivals, but most of them are passionate about other things. That was really good. I feel like in X and Y, they didn't do as much with it as they could have, because they more were just focusing on like making sure you interacted with each one mandatorily, which was kind of annoying. So I'm hoping that they dial a little bit back on that, and rework that kind of system, which honestly, taking Legends Arceus, they definitely have gotten better at that. I mean, Pokemon X and Y came out in like what, 2011, I think. So Pokemon as a company has made a huge amount of progress since then, and it's really good. So I'm excited about that. But Naveen is on the pyramid because just any character that's excited about fashion, I automatically like, because when you live in a world where Pokemon are real, how is there not more fashion based on the Pokemon that you're around all the time? That shit's cool as fuck. Dude, get on that. Oh my gosh. But I really hope that in like, you know, post game that you can purchase cosmetics from Naveen. That'd be really cool. Because also you gotta represent the homies, you know. Those are all of our fictional characters on the pyramid this week. Next up on the pyramid is Pedro Pascal. First of all, his blue carpet outfit for the premiere of Fantastic Four was reminiscent of Indiana Jones. I'm not kidding. Excellent choice. Also brought a bunch of his family with him. Always good. Always good to see Lux on the carpet as well. Just the amount of support that he gives her is incredible, and it's just a shining example of how you should act if someone you are related to is trans. He's genuinely the perfect example of this is how you should be treating them. Just constantly uplifting Lux, and it's just beautiful. He's also on the pyramid because he's Reed Richards. I mean, I don't know. His chemistry with the rest of the cast is so good. It's just a good time. Also, casting someone who's not actually a father to play a very well-known character that is a DILF is also really funny to me. But it's going really well. I don't like every single person that has been interviewed about Pedro in regards to like working with him. They've all said how supportive he is, so I really do think he was an excellent person to choose for this cast because he constantly wants to help uplift everyone else in the cast. The only clip I've seen of him talking at that event was him talking about his co-stars. Like, it's beautiful. So that's why Pedro Pascal's on the pyramid. And even more important to the Fantastic Four, next up on the pyramid is Vanessa Kirby. I've heard that this movie treats her like the most important person in the film. Thank God. Because historically, people playing Sue Storm have had shit times with it. So I'm very glad that they are treating her well this time. There was this beautiful moment, and I don't remember if I mentioned it earlier, but the original Fantastic Four cast was there, and she met the original Sue Storm, and that was a beautiful moment. Also just the sheer timing and wonder of it all, to be in a movie where your character is pregnant and has a baby, and then now she is pregnant genuinely. And I do think she's commented that it made her feel more prepared for motherhood, which I think is really funny. But I honestly think that it's also really helping along the promotion for this movie, because in the movie she's pregnant, and right now she's actually pregnant, which I think about it in terms of how little kids view movies, you know, where they think the people in the movies are actually those characters and that those people are real, that Sue Storm is a real person, that kind of thing. And I think it's really funny that even if little kids are shown real pictures of Vanessa Kirby, they're still gonna think it's Sue Storm because she's pregnant at the same time as this promotion is happening, same time as the movie is coming out. So I really enjoy that little fact, because I think that it just made me remember how much like belief and wonder children have about movies, and how even looking at pictures of her at the premiere, kids would still think it's Sue Storm because she's, you know what I mean? So I think that's really cool. Also, she's also on the pyramid because just the fact that she got this role, performed this role, auditioned for this role, knowing how poorly people who also played Sue Storm were treated in the past, and just it's a lot, you know. But that's why Vanessa Kirby's on the pyramid this week. Number 1 on the pyramid, this is an homage for this week. Top of the pyramid is Ozzy Osbourne. First of all, my little super white girly ass did not realize how many things he was a part of until he passed, because I somehow only thought he had a solo career. No, he didn't. I'm literally stupid. Don't know how I thought that. But also just, I watched a lot of clips from his final concert, which was like last week. And, you know, the way he sang and the way he acted in any of those, you know, backstage clips, you know, he saw, I believe his daughter got engaged after that concert. And in all of those clips, despite, you know, having difficulty standing and stuff like that, he otherwise outwardly seemed fine, which is incredible because now so many people, that's their last image of him, is him, you know, smiling despite everything and performing beautifully and all that. So that's why Ozzy Osbourne's on the pyramid. Also, he's also on the pyramid because there's so many songs that I either didn't know was him or forgot what that were him singing that are really important to me, and like hold more like there's key memories attached to some of the songs that he's done. So I wanted to put him on the top of the pyramid because through his music I have made a lot of memories, and that's important. So I wanted to acknowledge that. That is all I have for this week. There was a Fields of Mystria update, which I used to stream on Twitch. I haven't had time for it in a really long time. But there has been an update, but I think I might wait until the next one to do more Fields of Mystria streaming wise. But so far the update's pretty good. I haven't done a whole lot though. Perhaps I will play more by the next time you see me, and I'll be able to talk about it a little more. But as always, thank you all so much for watching. Like I've mentioned a couple times throughout this episode, this is my last week of my theater commitment. So by probably Monday, I will have less to do, and I may even get episodes done early, God forbid. But I'm very excited simultaneously to be done with it, but I'm also, wow, I said that wrong. I am excited to no longer have theater every single day. but I'm also, I really enjoy the dynamic I have with most of the cast. Hard asterisk there. There's one person in the cast that I definitely don't like, and I thought they were much older than me. No, they are my age. So yeah. Also, I was at an event, and they generically said about 4 people who were in the production that were also at that event. They said, all my friends are here, and it took every fiber of my being to not turn around and go, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm not your friend. But yeah, so I will take every opportunity to remind that person that they're not older than me, which is not true. They are about 20 days older than me, which means jack shit developmentally. So, you know, but I will be sad to not be working with the majority of this cast anymore. Got a lot of homies in this cast, you know, so, but I may be helping a little bit with some props for the next one, but not a full commitment like this one. So, with that, again, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. I'll have a lot more time on my hands. I think I'm seeing Superman before I next see you. So if I do, expect a lot of that. There's opportunity for me to talk about Superman a lot next week. So keep that in mind. And if I forget, oops, happens. But I will see y'all same time, same place next week. Thank you all so much for watching. Like I say most of the time, viewership really matters to me because, hey, people are interested in what I'm doing. And I don't think I've mentioned it for a hot second, but the whole point of this channel is to track my hyperfixations over time, or like what my brain is fixating on each week over time. So not only do I get kind of a timeline of events for like, oh, I latched on to this fandom or like this movie at this time, and then this is where I went from there, but also you can generally track things that happened in pop culture at the same time. And it's been really fun. I have definitely enjoyed this more than I had enjoyed streaming. But it's a good time regardless. So I'll see y'all next week. That's everything. So yeah. Bye y'all.